believe it's Franklin Middleton and Patrick Griffin. After that, because of our time, I'm going to call up one individual from the supporters. We had a number of people, 3.5 pages of supporters, and of opposition, we had just over a page and a half. And I'll call up the last two individuals on the opposition with one of the proponents as well for the last panel. Gentlemen.
Thank you for the opportunity to get up here and speak. I'm almost a lifelong Oregon resident. I'm also the chairman for Clatsop County GOP. My name is Jim Hoffman. I'm a veteran. I worked for the Oregon Department of Corrections. I've seen firsthand the violence in the prison system, what happens on the streets and in the military. It comes from not only weapons, but it comes from screwdrivers, hammers, people hang themselves, and cliffs. I've seen one person jump off a cliff. I've known another to drive off a cliff in suicide. We don't need more gun laws. We have the laws already protecting us. Judge Janine Pirro, she's been a federal prosecutor, federal judge. She stated that out of thousands of cases that she's dealt with weapons, there's only been one person that had a legal weapon that used it to hurt somebody else. Criminals don't care about our laws. They will get weapons no matter what. If somebody wants to commit suicide, do you think if we take away their right to have a gun, it's going to stop them? No, it's not. We need to quit attacking the weapons and start dealing with the problems. I mean, we have problems with gangs. Sure we do. But where are those gangs coming from? A vast majority of them are MS-13. They come from Mexico. The vast majority of them are here illegally. Why aren't we doing something about that? You know, we have the means and the abilities to already protect our citizens, but attacking our gun rights is not something we need to do. Thank you.
Allowing me to speak today, Chair Brzezinski and Chair. Thank you so much for the service that you give to our state. I'm a Republican PCP in Eugene, and Senator Brzezinski, your name? For Patrick Griffin, sorry.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to speak a little bit differently than has been heard so far. In the 1830s, the state of Missouri disarmed my spiritual ancestors and drove them from the state. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In the 1840s, the governor of Illinois guaranteed the leader of our church protection and allowed him to be murdered in custody. So, as you can see from historical perspective, I'm disinclined to trust state government to protect my rights to defend myself. Personally, as a child when I was in elementary school, my third grade teacher said, "Why can't you be boys more like Patrick?" Because I was a good student, which translated in, I got beat up every day after school. When me and my mother went to the principal to discuss this, his words were, "As long as it's off school property, I don't care." So I personally do not wish to trust my self-defense to people in authority. On another note, one time when I was a teenager in my home, someone broke into my home. I heard them in the other room. I was the only one home, and I listed through my mind how I might deal with this particular situation. Somebody was in the home at the time. There was no time for me to call and hope, wait for however long it was going to take the police to show up. So I ran through, hey, go to the kitchen, get a kitchen knife. Oh, I had a baseball bat, and then I remembered my family at the time had an AR-15. I used the AR-15 to successfully defend my home. I did not have to shoot anyone. The gun scared the crap out of this kid, and he left. He was just in my home to steal something, but luckily, he was only there to take things. So that's my particular, I'm opposed to these bills because I just don't trust the state to make judgments on how I can defend myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
13790 Southwest Far Vista Street, Beaverton, here for myself. On Senate Bill 868, it sounds to me like we don't need another layer of laws. One of the problems is, like people said before, there's so many laws that it's tough for lawyers to figure out what's going on. And judges are different. If you look at Gorsuch situation, we know that there are two political parties in Oregon that have a problem with judges. On 797, to me, that is a way that the state can underfund an activity like the state police to make it harder for delays to increase. My opinion is that women are more likely to be beaten physically than they are shot. One of my problems was rape kits. The Oregon State Police weren't adequately funded in order to process all the rape kits that were given to them. On 764, I suggested to my Representative Helm, I believe, that people ought to take a course before they are allowed a gun, because even the military doesn't give you a gun without giving you a practice. So you need a driver's license to drive a 2-ton weapon. You might as well have one for a gun, so that at least you know what downrange is. Thank you.
All right, thank you. This is what, we're running out of time. I have 2 more individuals who signed up on the opposition side, so I'm going to call up 2 people for the proponent side. That will be Marilyn Surchek, okay, and Dr. Jim Scott. If you 2 will come up, and this will conclude the proponents. And then the last 2 for the opponents will be the last 2 that are signed up. John Grandstaff, as well as Manuel Martinez. Please get started.
Hello, my name is Marilyn Balsrak, and I was the citizen sponsor for Initiative 1491 in Washington State to enact extreme risk protection orders, which was on our ballot last November and passed by overwhelming numbers across the state. I'm here to speak about SB868, a similar measure, before you today. First, I would like to say this is not a Democrat or a Republican bill. This is a much-needed tool that families of loved ones in crisis need. This is a bill about preventing suicide, and who is more attuned to someone's psychological needs than close family? I cannot put into words the agony of knowing a loved one is in crisis and not being able to keep a gun out of that person's hands. My son struggled off and on his entire life with social and psychological problems. The last 2 years of his life was an endless series of suicide notes, bizarre text messages, and even one night pounding on our door screaming, "Yes or no, can I commit suicide? Yes or no? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer." I'd given him the best health care I could find, but unfortunately psychological research is in its infancy, and long-term commitment is often not practical nor affordable. I talked with police officers on several occasions to see if there was any way to keep a gun out of his hands, but the answer was always the same. He can legally buy a gun unless he commits a crime, or I get a restraining order and he breaks that order. That was the last thing I wanted to do. My son needed me and my help. I so desperately felt I needed to keep a gun from him. Guns, unlike overdosing or suffocation, are a uniquely lethal means of suicide. So I was left to search his room whenever he was not around and pray the help would come before he made a decision that would be irreversible. It was not to be. On June 7th, 2015, James took a gun that he had purchased from our local Fred Meyer, a store where I had taught him how to shop and socialize, went up to his stepdaughter's room and shot her in the head, and a short time later shot and killed himself. This need not happen if extreme risk protection orders had been available to me. I believe my son and stepdaughter, the daughter that I never had, would still be alive today. I wish that you would vote for them. Thank you.
Jim?
Thank you, Senator Brzezinski and the committee. I'm Dr. Jim Scott. I've been a physician in Oregon I'm an Oregon native and have been a physician for over 40 years. And I'm here to speak in favor of 797 and 868. And you've heard a lot of outstanding testimony this morning. I'm just going to underline a little bit of that. One of the things that has informed my experience of this is that when I was in practice down in Florence on the coast for 20 years, I got asked to be the medical examiner in the local community and kind of an assistant to the guy over in Eugene. And I thought I was going to get to do some interesting Quincy kind of work of tough cases, but basically it was all suicides, or an old person who died in bed at home. And those suicides could have, several of them, when I would talk to family members, they'd say, we knew something was wrong, but we didn't know what to do. We couldn't do anything about it. And this bill, 868, will provide a tool, not universally effective, but maybe if it saves a few lives, it'll matter. If we take gun violence prevention as a public health problem, which my organization, the National Physicians Alliance, has been talking about for now over a decade, there are multiple interventions that may make a difference. Just like when with car safety, we've had one thing after another that has gradually made automobiles much more safe, and the same thing can happen with guns. So I urge you to support these two bills and hopefully save some lives in this state. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. Our last panel is John Grandstaff. John?
Yes.
Come on up. And Manuel Martinez. John, I'd like for you to start off, please.
Sure, I'd love to.
Yeah. Go ahead and get your name. Got it. John,
Yes.
you ready?
Yes, my name is John Grandstaff. Can you hear me? My name is John Grandstaff, and I'm testifying against all three of these bills. I just want to say thank you very much for springing this on us when most people have to go to work. That's much appreciated. So I'm opposed to these bills because on their face, they're just a blatant power grab, and they're unconstitutional for many reasons. Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. I think I'm very disgusted, actually, with anybody who would support these bills. And I'm disgusted for two reasons. First of which, it's ignorance. Anybody who's for these bills are obviously ignorant and have not done enough research to understand the constitutionality of these bills, the unconstitutionality of these bills. And secondly, too, anybody who votes for them in the Senate or the House are breaking their oath of office. And so we've hired you, especially you, Mr. Brzezinski, to defend the Constitution. And over and over and over again, you have chosen to break your oath. And that's not appreciated. And I think that everybody here should understand that anybody who votes for these bills are breaking their oath of office. And you, by doing that, are becoming a criminal. And furthermore, I'd say shame on the state police or the county sheriffs for not arresting you for that crime. So the people who vote against these bills, I do appreciate it because you understand the Constitution and your job in defending our rights as citizens of Oregon.
Please respect everyone's opportunity. John, thank you very much for your time. Daniel?
My name is Martinez, reside in Kaiser, state of Oregon, and I oppose all these bills. Not for the reason that you try to represent, it's because you hide the purpose of this bill, which is the elimination and the destruction of the Second Amendment of the United States of America, the one who protect our liberties and rights. I know that, you know also that, but you love it. This is nothing more to start introducing Marxism in this country, which will be started a long time ago. You want to disarm the American people. You want to leave the door open to tyranny. I know tyranny very, very much. When you still was feeding from your mothers, I was there. I know all this people with those t-shirts, they're being used by the appeal of Marxism to introduce tyranny in this country. I feel sorry for them. Believe me, I am. Being used. I see these people with this same individuals with those t-shirts. Jesus for Christ for peace. Mom for peace. Mom for no action. I saw before. I saw them wearing groceries. And then they turned around and they said it was done that on purpose to introduce Marxism. I denounce in the way you conduct this. You are manipulating the law. You are manipulating the American people. You are introducing here Marxism. Probably in your body has the appeal of Marxism, even though you don't want to recognize.
Mr. Martinez, thank you much for your testimony.
I know I don't take any question because my liberties and rights are not subject to your questions, sir.
We're not going to
Thank you very much for your time.
You bet. Have a good day.
You
So
bet.
I'd like to thank everyone that was here today. I'm sorry that we only had the time allotted. There are a number of supporters who did sign up. There's about 2 pages of individuals. But as we stated when we had these posted, we knew we were going to be on a limited amount of time. That's why we left it at 2 minutes for each person. You still have till 5 p.m. today. If you have not provided any testimony, you have the ability on no matter what issue on these 3 bills, you can submit it to the judiciary staff, or you can go online and upload it electronically. Again, thank you very much for being Oregonians, listening to everyone's perspectives, and now we're adjourned.